All right, so what's cool about QBX, man? And to me, the experience is all about gaining experience from those that have been through it. And I think that's what you're bringing to the table. So tell me how you're puzzling in. What's your piece here?
As a parent who's just gone through the process, my son is currently a freshman at the Division I program, and the process is very fresh in my mind. I mean, I just went through it.
Mm-hmm.
How to speak to coaches, what camps to go to, what to do at camps, how to feel comfortable speaking to coaches. What are the questions to ask a coach?
Right.
Are you gonna redshirt my kid? Give me a day in my kid's life in college. Most kids have no understanding of what a student athlete's life looks like. You need to have an understanding. I have that now because I've gone through it.
Yeah.
How many seconds does an actual coach really look at your film, your high school film? First.
Almost like one and done.
Right.
Exactly. If that's even if they opened it up.
That's correct. So first you got to get them to open it. Then you got to keep their attention for the first 3 or 4 seconds so they continue to watch the sequencing of your film.
Right.
So it's important that the first 2 or 3 plays that you put in there,
But not
capture.
shots.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, okay, so your son, you just went through this, and I know it's an emotional time, because I remember back in the day, way back, but still recruiting was the same, okay? It was hardcore, and there's your nerves. How are you gonna take the parents and just, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna relax them? Because I know that it's not just nervousness for the kid, the parents, man, it is nerve-wracking.
It's having an understanding and a knowledge of the process, right?
Mm.
So your kid is, you understand that he is a value to a program. That's the first thing you need to understand. That this school wants your kid or the expertise that your kid brings to the team on their team. Because recruiting is the lifeline of your program. If you're not a good recruiter, if you're not recruiting well within your program, you're destined to fail. Right? So that's the leverage that you have.
So you have power walking in.
Exactly.
You have power, and people don't know that.
No.
So there's a lack of confidence, and you're weary, and you don't know what's happening. What do I say? What do I do?
You have power.
Yeah.
But you have to be very objective in what you're bringing to the table. You have to know your product, right?
That probably right there is that's an assessment process. It's very hard to have great objective view being the parent. And I think maybe that's another piece that you bring to the table that I think needs to be discussed a little bit.
Well, there's certain parameters towards being a Division I athlete or a Division II athlete, Division III athlete. How fast are you? Your weight, your height. Those are all things that, as a parent, you need to know where your kid fits. Within those elements. Along with having someone like yourself, let's say you're talking about a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You can obviously do an assessment of what level of skill do you have to deliver to a Division I or II or III program. So you need people around. You need a team of folks that are going to say, "Hey, this is where we think your kid can deliver to a program,"
Right.
and then put a package together, a product package together that says we have targeted the area where we think our kid could be of benefit, and then get your team to put that package together for those programs.
Right. Well, I mean, I know here, with QBX and the experience, the number one thing we're doing is trying to enlighten, train, get kids better, assess them correctly, rate them, rank them, find them. All these different things we're trying to do. Let nobody go past without, a great viewpoint, letting them know exactly where they stand, what they can do to get better. And I think having you come in, because you're an objective person, you're knowledgeable in terms of what just happened. I think what's going to be a huge dynamic to our process is letting these kids, hey, the road that you don't know, that you haven't been through, that you're about to go through, here's a roadmap. And that's what the experience is all about, giving experience where there is none.
There's a lot of back office work that goes in to what you just mentioned, to that process. Mm-hmm. And parents need to be very well versed on the protocols involved in, for example, a coach calls your home to discuss recruiting with you. What do you ask that coach? Does that coach speak to your child first? or should they speak
Right,
to you?
right.
You know, an example I give all the time, would you let your kid negotiate your mortgage? No, right?
Yeah, we're joking about
You
this,
have-
letting
you-
Zoe,
yeah.
letting your son Zoe, you come out paying double.
Right. So you have a guy that makes, you know, $3-4 million a year, negotiating with a kid who's 16, 17, 18 years old. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to come in as a knowledgeable expert to say, hey, I have something that you want, and we're gonna have to negotiate if this is the right situation for my child and for my family. Right?
Right, so I have a question. Okay, so we're here about letting no stone be unturned and always having answers. Always having answers. So let's bring up somebody who says, Dell, thank you very much. The information you just gave draws a lot of my questions to an end. Thank you. I got resolution there. I still don't want to go through this by myself. What are you going to do? How are you going to make the experience come to them?
Well, there are ways that we can package. Listen, if you don't have the time to take your kid through a tour of 5 or 6 different schools, we can provide that service for you.
Okay.
If you don't know how to sequence your film,
No,
you don't know
big one.
what I should put first. It's a dual threat. Should I really put that he's a great runner? I don't know. We can put that together for you.
Right.
The dialogue, the questions you should be asking your coach, we can sit down and discuss that. We can give you an outline of what are the things that are important, what kind of information you should get from the person that's recruiting you. What are important aspects of the recruiting process itself? I know. Do you and your family want to go visit your son and watch all his games?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you live in Georgia and your kid is playing out in California, that could be a problem, right?
Right.
So that becomes part of one of the elements of, hey, we want our kid playing locally, or maybe that's not an issue, right?
So you bring a lot of things though. I mean, the bottom line is, especially going through it, and it's like we talked about before, it's not cold, it's not warm, it's hot for you. You just went through this, okay? So what you're doing is you're bringing all the fruits that you just gained from this to bear for others. And that's what's important is, again, I'm gonna restate it, we're all about giving the experience that a veteran has. You went through it, that's what vets have, and vets pass it down. And that, you know, and I think that's important, I think that's great.
I think along with the process, there's an incredible bonding with your student athlete, which is your son or daughter, right? I mean, we're talking football, so we're talking sons here. But I spent many hours with my son in the car traveling from school to school. I still remember vividly our first offer, you know, at a Division I program, and the emotion and the success that we felt as a team, because you and your family and your son become a team in this process, right? And you finally, you know, you struck gold. You got your first offer, you know. I remember a tear coming out of on our first offer.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, you know, we actually made it here, you know? And through all the pitfalls, through all the days that we didn't want to work out, or
Right.
through all the coach's calls, and we were like, what should we ask that coach, or should we go Division II or Division III? I mean, you don't really know, right?
Right.
But you need people in your corner that make true, objective assessments of where you are in the process, and I think that's what we can deliver to the program.
That's huge, man. I just want to say thanks, man. I can't wait. This process is going to be awesome. It's going to
Thank
be
you.
helpful for people too.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate you.